There we go. All right. We are live. How's everybody doing? All right. Let's get our little scene here together. We're back with part 7 of the Gernon case that we've been covering. I want to welcome everybody. Time is of the essence, so I'm not going to delay because I found out from StreamYard that I only have a little bit more time left from the streaming that I've been doing on this case. Got an email and they said, here's the amount of time you got left before your monthly allowance of 20 hours. I said, what? No kidding. That is no lie. So I want to welcome everyone back to this case. Brother Boss Blake, welcome. Miss Nay, welcome. Skeet, welcome. Moderators for tonight's live. I want to welcome you back. Yeah, and the month has just started, I know. For, those that do lives and do streams, we have to stay up on top of the amount of hours that we do put in. I didn't realize that I had put in almost 20 hours in the lives that I've been doing on this case. So I said, well, let me try to balance it out. And I think I have. But hopefully we don't get cut off, because there is some information I wanted to go over with you pertaining to following up on the analysis that we have done in part 1, part 2, parts 3, 4, 5, and 6 on this case. So welcome everyone back to this case. The Real Brooklyn, Spellbound, Bam, Skeet, Miss Bam, Jennifer Rebecca, Hannah Bell, Shay Works by Faith, Sweet Pea, Miss MTG VTV. Much love to you for joining us. So without further ado, let me just get set up and let's get into it, okay? Because I don't know if this is I do not know if this is gonna shut off on us tonight, but hopefully it won't. So give me 30 seconds. I'll be back. Okay. That was quick, wasn't it? All right. In continuing our investigation on this case in regards to the video surveillance footage that we have been given, let me just make sure that I'm good. I'm just checking a couple of things here. All right. All right. Just getting everything set up. We have learned a lot of different things. We have seen much. We have talked about much. We have covered much, but not enough. When we talk about the circumstantial evidence in this case that the Dallas Police Department will be using against Darian Brown in a capital murder case, we find some things quite troubling, and troubling indeed. We were told that the individual who snatched cash from his crib is Darian Brown. We were told that by Monica Sherrard that she had identified Darian Brown in the video surveillance footage as being the perpetrator of this crime. The Dallas police went out, did whatever due diligence they did, apprehended him, arrested him for something far less than what we were told the last time we were together in part 6. It seems like there are legal matters that are involved pertaining to his defense attorney and the prosecuting attorney for the Dallas District Attorney's Office. So when we take a look at the evidence, at what's going on in this case, we find some very troubling things. And hopefully they will be cleared up, because what we have is just the scratch on the surface. What they have seems to be the case, lock, stock, and barrel. And it seems like they're having an issue right now getting an indictment to go to the grand jury to file that case with the grand jury so that the grand jury could say, yes, they have a capital murder charge. Let's proceed to go to trial with Darian Brown, who is currently in custody in Dallas County. And so, let me see if I can do this. Let me go to regular screen share. It's going to get very interesting tonight. I'm going to try to do what I can to cover what I need to. I'm going to bring some things up, so bear with me. First of all, before I start, obviously I want to throw up my copyright disclaimer. And this allows us under fair use to discuss, for the purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, education, to talk about tonight's material. All right. Just make sure that we are good to go. Hide certain things that don't need to be there, because we do not want to lag. All right. Oh, I'm going to have to go to, well, just give me a second. I see my little, oh, there it is. There we go. All right. I'm together, people. You know, when you do lives, sometimes things work right, sometimes they don't. When they do, you're happy, and when they don't, you're not too happy. But in this case, we tried to give you what we could find during our own independent research and investigation on this case. And let me make a personal disclaimer. I am not a professional investigator. I am not a forensics analyst. I am not a crime scene investigator listed with any of the states in the United States, nor do I work for the FBI's BAU unit. I'm just a father and a grandfather concerned about our children. As I said in the Kanika Jenkins case, so I do say tonight. I have to make that disclaimer so people don't make the mistake to say John Q is this or John Q is that. And he seems to know, and he seems to have more information than the police department and all this other stuff. And I do take, your comments that you have left under the categories of the live under this case as a compliment. But all we're doing here is just looking with our eyes, just as you've done. But I do take it a step further to speak about it and produce lives and information that we can have a conversation on. I've connected with a number of content creators on YouTube discussing this case. I've told you who they are, where they are, and where this case may end up going. We've covered not only this scene that you're looking at before you, side by side. One is the original Daily Mail video surveillance footage to the left in the black and white. One is also from the Daily Mail that was enhanced by Kenny Earl and sent to me for analysis. When I say analysis, we are talking about analyzing and viewing and studying and giving feedback on. There are a lot of people who appreciate the feedback that I'm able to give because we're able to look at things far differently than just looking and watching and seeing what's before us. We began part one with perception, plays a very important role in how we understand what we see. And part two took us into this particular area of the crime scene, the one that was given by the Daily Mail and looked at by many of us who are content creators. I come along to actually give a study approach to it so that this way we don't fall into the pockets of a whole lot of speculation. You do see what it is that you see. And I want to make it your responsibility for that, as well as my own, but come as close as we can together to identify what it is that we do see and how we can connect the dots. So tonight we want to take a look at a follow-up analysis of the video surveillance footage that was put out by the Daily Mail and ask certain questions about it. Still today, we do not know why this was released to social media. We have an idea that perhaps Monica Sherrod had given consent for this to be released in the way that it has to do something perhaps for them. Possibly justify this case as being a crime itself is one way to take a look at it. To cover some of the things that they couldn't cover verbally is another way to take a look at it. To preempt any speculation about what was said by the news media that eventually began to cover it once it was released. And then again, it could be possibly released as some kind of an alibi. Give or take. There are all sorts of ways you can look at this video surveillance footage. One of the main things about this video surveillance footage is that this will be used in a court of law in the Dallas County District Attorney's Office in reference to prosecuting the individual that is claimed and alleged to be seen in this video surveillance footage. This is the heaviest of all the pieces of evidence that has come out on this case. And with that said, rightfully so, we should take a hard look at it if it's going to be used against an individual that may cost him time in jail for the rest of his life or even a death penalty charge. I will try to do my best to cover your comments tonight due to time constraints. I wanted to get to it. Hold on one second. So what you see before you is what we've received to look at. Your perception plays a very important role. What you see says a lot of different things to you. It has a lot of different people since this case began. May 15th is an important date based on a timeline that should be addressed. We are told that this happened in the wee hours of the morning, near close to 5 a.m. Timestamps are not available for us to see the original timestamp, nor is the metadata in these videos that were released given to us, and they will possibly come behind sooner in the case as it develops. Okay. One of the things that we discussed and talked about regarding this particular surveillance footage is that this is a baby cam. This is a night camera that was posted inside the children's room. That is baby Cash and baby Carter. We're told that there's possibly just one camera that is involved in the whole case and in the house. I don't believe that to be true if it's part of a security system to secure the house in areas of importance. We have an area of importance here before us, which is the children's room. Another area of importance would be the garage, where there were piles of furniture, excuse me, that needed to have some kind of security. Also, the exterior portion of the house where people park their cars. We have also come across different types of vandalism happening in and around the area where Monica Sherrod lives, where other neighbors were concerned about their security and also had activated and posted video surveillance cameras in and around their areas as well. So to say that there's one and only one video surveillance camera that has captured this event for that particular morning on May 15th, I would doubt very much. And this is just my opinion. I would doubt very much because it doesn't make sense for one camera to be pointed in just one particular area called this room and no place else, where there are valuable areas and parts of the property which are valuable to the homeowner. Southern Sass, good evening. Kathy, good evening. Miss Janet, good evening. D. Walsh, good evening. We're just getting started. So in looking at that, common sense plays a very important part of this case. Just observing and just saying to yourself, would I just have one video surveillance camera in one location in my house where I believed the most valuable part of that house and the people therein in that house would be posted? just one, where we have nanny cameras in living rooms when babysitters, when we've seen those videos on YouTube, would be posted, catching the nanny doing certain things while babysitting. We've seen also video surveillance footage in kitchens, driveways, basements, bedroom areas, front doors, all different types of places to protect lives and property. And it would only make sense for this video surveillance system to do the same thing. It would only make sense for Monica Sherrod to do the same thing, covering the number of children, biological children, that she has living with her at the residence in which she lives in. We have also come across information pertaining to Cameron Morey, 18-year-old son of Monica Sherrod, who was there in this house during the time this crime took place. What he was doing, we don't know. Was he up during the wee hours of the morning? There could be a very strong possibility he was, along with other friends, acquaintances, associates who happened to hang out at the Sherrod house in the wee hours of the morning, doing things that we're also finding out on Facebook and also on YouTube. Miss MGVTV, I call her Miss V, posted that on her website, on her YouTube channel, of who Cameron Morey hangs out with. And we're talking about some associates, some people, some fellas, regulars in the neighborhood, not only smoking weed, possibly doing opioids and drugs, but waving guns and fanning money at the same time. So it gives us an element as to say that there's some street here that's inside the house, among the children, that needs to be addressed. And address it we will. And I thank Miss MTGV TV for posting that information, because it is a valuable part of the evidence. It needs to be included in this. We hope that the DA does include that as well. The thing we haven't really covered here to a great degree is victimology. When I say victimology, is what do we know about Cash? What do we truly know about Cash? What do we truly know about Carter? What were their lifestyles like before this incident? We know that Trevor Garner is the biological father of these two children. The story goes that these two children were taken from the biological mother for quite some time, and the biological mother was looking for both these boys during that time interim. What was that about? That plays a very important part in what led up to May 15th. We understand that Trevor Garner, the biological father, had some warrants against him for drug use, drug paraphernalia, possession, and a host of other charges that the Dallas police had posted against him. We also know that Monica Sherrod has got some issues as well when it comes to the Dallas police doing a background check on her for possession, possible fraud. And I'm sure that Cameron Morey also has some kind of a record. So when we take a look at this case, we would have to take a look at the first important piece, which is the victimology of the victim. Where did they come from? How did they get there? What were they doing there? Etc. We can only cover but so much on YouTube, but we're starting to get some answers in different directions as we are all beginning to dig. Those that are covering this case, that is, beginning to dig in areas to get those answers. And to get those answers and to bring some of them forward to you. A lot of this information is sensitive, and so we have to use our discretion on what pieces of information to bring forward and not to have any kind of dampering of the current investigation underway in Dallas County. With all of you here, now present, and it is very good. We are into our live tonight. Let me just do this. Type a 1 for a sound check, and then we will begin. Type a 1 for a good sound check. And I see that there's some hearts out here for justice for Carter, healing and love for Cash. Indeed. Bringing awareness to a case like this is what I'm doing here tonight. Back with you for part 7. Back with you for another look at what we've been given to look at, discuss, share, and talk about. I'm going to begin to play both clips as best as I can simultaneously so that you can see in both the left side video, which was posted on YouTube by Crimes and Dummies, and the video that was sent to me by Kenny Earl. I hope he's in the room, chat room tonight. Miss Crystal Moore, welcome, moderator for this evening. And let us see in both the original video footage, the one that was given to us on YouTube, and the one that was sent to me by Kenny Earl, if we see certain things in a different light, in a different way, and if we truly can identify what the Dallas Police Department identified as Darian Brown in this case. And I've also given you my opinion. In the appearance of the fourth kind, things that are not but yet appear to be, the individual that we do see in this video footage appears to be Darian Brown. The individual in the video that is in the video that the Dallas Police Department sees is Darian Brown. We have to understand that now as a fact because he is under arrest and in custody because of that fact. And this is the reason for taking a very hard look at what they're looking at. Have they made a mistake? Or do they have the right person? A lot of you believe that they have the right person. There are some of you who believe that they don't. And this is the critical part of the case because we need to find out if they do. These videos right now are running at simultaneous speed. And I want you to take a very careful look. and looking at what you see before you, simultaneously running, and in the various different light that you see it, the Dallas Police Department believes that this is Darian Brown, age 18, weighing 150 pounds, standing 6 foot tall, with brown eyes, dark brown hair, with a medium build. This is who they believed snatched cash from his crib on May 15th, of the morning of May 15th, at around 5 a.m. You see before you the different contrasts, the different lighting aspects of this video surveillance footage. You see the motion, the movements, the camera sensing. You see the position. You also see the individual as posing intent. You also see the dipping and the flashing of the video. We also see the apprehension of cash being taken out of the room. Carter not moving, falling fast asleep. Now we have the daylight portion of the same video surveillance footage. So how can we not say that this video has been edited to a point to where we have two different time elements to deal with? And here we have the end result. Hold on one second. I'll make sure we come back to that area. I meant to stop it. Just give me a second. To the point to where Carter realizes that his brother's no longer in the bed, realizes his brother's no longer in the room, and then realizes that his brother's no longer in the house. The door is broke right here. Okay. In viewing this video just the way you saw it moments ago, it takes time to actually train your eye to watch every nuance of it. When the police took a look at this, they too have to study a crime scene in a three-dimensional way. They too have to come to a conclusion as to what they see. they too have to make decisions and determinations as to what actions to take. They too did make a decision, and they believed that Darian Brown was the individual who took Cash out of his bed that early morning. If I can get this just to act right. Okay. Like I said, YouTube does its thing sometimes. We begin to realize certain things. We begin to possibly come to the closest conclusion that we can regarding this video surveillance footage. I gave you my opinion. I believe that this video surveillance footage did catch Darian Brown in it. Because it gives that appearance clearly. I did mention and state that if it is him who did this crime, it is only the crime of what's been in front of us only. Grabbing a child and taking him out of the room, out of camera view, and nothing else. This is exactly what he was being held for and then arrested for. And if the prosecution intends to use this to say that this is the evidence that they have against Darian Brown, who possibly murdered Cash Gernon, then this is only circumstantial evidence. It does not show the actual murder or the act of murder in this video surveillance footage. Point blank on the table, there it is. So now what they have to do is start to build a case. Obviously they are. And in and around an 8-block area, give or take away from the Sherrard house, is where Cash Gernon was found, outside, as we did post in parts 5 and 6. Laid out on the ground, and there appeared to have been a long, more than 150 feet to 200-foot blood trail from the sidewalk across from one side of the street all the way across the street to the other side of the street in front of a driveway near a residence that could possibly have a video surveillance footage camera posted on the exterior portion of the house facing the driveway where Cash was laid, at the foot of that driveway where the memorial stands or stood. This is the additional evidence that we do not have. That is the additional evidence that will only support if it did capture Darian Brown outside, laying Cash on the pavement and leaving him there, which will nail this case shut. But the video surveillance footage before us doesn't do that. It doesn't come anywhere close to doing that. Does it? So they have a very big task in developing and building a circumstantial case against Darian Brown. When he was arrested, he wasn't arrested for capital murder. He was arrested for something entirely different. And this arrest for this particular crime and the labeling of the arrest for this particular crime is a label which we find out in the month of February, not in the month of May. Burglary and kidnapping of someone else's child, not Cash Gerner. It appears the report, as we stated in part 6, stated that he was in someone else's house entirely doing something else, looking for his girlfriend, is what was stated. He was looking for someone else in someone else's house. There was a possible assault in that house. And the child in that house was 2 years old, being used possibly as a body shield against the homeowner who happened to have gone into the kitchen and got a knife to protect himself and also protect his family. But here we have an entirely different scene. And so what did the Dallas Police Department do? And that we have shared that information pertaining to the documents, the court documents that are on the table as of today. Been able to share that with you and to give you the Dallas Police Department's reason for arresting Darian Brown to begin with. It wasn't the events that happened at the Sherrard house. It was the events that happened at a different location, at a different time, in a different month, pertaining to someone else, period. Now, these charges of capital murder were added later. And this is what Darian Brown's defense attorney is having an issue with. Not only in the way that he was arrested and for what crime he was arrested, but there are charges trumped up. It is not the February charge only we're talking about. It is the May 15th charge as well. There are 5 to 6 independent charges against Darian Brown. In a short space of time, make sure he does not get out on bail. In fact, bail was denied. He is indigent, meaning he cannot even afford an attorney. But yet a $5 million bail has been posted over his head. What's going on in Dallas? How can we believe that Darian Brown actually did do what was stated in the news reports? How can we believe that? We have known and come to know and to learn that there are stories out there to where the wrong people were convicted based on circumstantial evidence that were the ones that do not belong in jail, only to find with time and because of DNA or forensics or whatever additional piece of information needed to be relooked at later on, only to find that they were then released and exonerated of all charges later on. Is that what they're going to do here? Is that what they're going to do with this case? To give us the appearance of some kind of closure, an appearance of the fourth kind, things that are not but yet appear to be? Could that be what they anticipate doing? Well, Darian Brown's attorney Mr. Heath Harris? I don't think so. He is working his due diligence right now, along with Valerie Bastian from the Cochrane firm, along with an independent investigator looking into the matters that occurred in the month of February pertaining to that neighbor we talked about in part 6, pertaining to the situation that we talked about in part 6. One thing for sure, we can begin to understand. And it's the only thing that we can basically understand. That a man's life is at stake. A child's life had been taken. A family's life interrupted by an event such as murder. I said in part 3 and in part 4 that if Trevor Gernon took his kids when he left, we would not be talking about this case. And there is some point of accountability he has to take for this case as well. There's no getting around that. Outside of the warrants that were against him and are against him and the court proceedings that will follow, they will use his testimony in this case as to how he became to know Monica Sherrod, why he was even with her, why also did he take these boys away from the biological mother, the one that was left looking and searching for the boys' whereabouts, but not knowing where they were, and whether she knew that Trevor Gernon had taken the boys intentionally for some strange reason that will be found out too in this case. There is a multi-tentacled beast that's a part of this case. And the most important part of the victimology of this case is understanding where Cash came from, who Cash Gernon is, and his brother Carter. Why they were left in this situation to begin with. What was the causation that led them to the Sherrod house? Did Darian Brown know Trevor Gernon while Trevor Gernon was here during the time he was here with Monica Sherrod? That will come out too. Because that's a hot piece of the cake that has already been cut. And we have to keep these things, these questions in mind while watching, paying attention to the evidence that comes out, that does get shared with us on social media platforms. Because there's a reason to it all. How the narrative in this case can go from left all the way to right is what we're about to find out. And find out through Darian Brown's defense attorney, Heath Harris, Valerie Bastian, and the independent investigation into this case. The DA wants this thing as bad as air in a pair of human lungs. They've turned around and they showed their behind to us all that they've got their man. Was it prematurely? Or do they actually have their man? So tonight, in reanalyzing this particular video surveillance footage, we can only see and make a specific claim, an opinion that is, as to who it is we do see in this video surveillance footage. But one thing, once again, for sure, the Dallas County Police Department believes they got their man, and it's Darian Brown, age 18, who has now undergone the scrutiny of the evidence being found against him by the district attorney in Dallas County. Miss Molly Golightly has documents, court documents, on her table right now that she is scouring through independent, confidential sources. Hopefully, she will be able to share that information, but in a way that does not jeopardize or damage the case, and I'm sure she will do that. I also suggested that if she needed my assistance to do that, I would be more than happy to assist her in doing that. Miss Tiffany Marie, being a part of this team, also is there to assist her to do that, as well as AB and maybe several other individuals that Miss Molly Golightly would select in reviewing 46 independent PDF court documents to date on what the DA's office, what the police department, what the independent investigation has revealed so far, possibly the medical evaluation that we're waiting for. Also, there could be possible information about the upcoming autopsy and toxicology report that's just around the corner from us now. All of these components play a very important role in putting together the evidence that will make absolute sense of what happened to Cash Gernon in this case. What you see here before you is just a partial piece of the evidence, and it's not heavy enough to hang an 18-year-old for the rest of his life. I'm sorry, it just doesn't hold. And I'm sure you feel the same way too. Darian Brown's mother is another individual that's also a part of this case that needs to address the issues and speak loudly upon addressing these issues concerning her son. If you have any time, I think her name is Mimi, to speak on behalf of your son, now would be the time to do it. And do it loudly and boldly, and go before the Dallas County Police Department and just call BS. If they have the wrong person. And if your son does have a mental illness. Now, whether she's under the advisement, the legal advisement of Heath Harris at the moment, then we can understand the silence. But if she's not, then she should speak, just as Kanika Jenkins's mother spoke. Just as Kira Cole's mother and father spoke regarding their cases, to make it known if there is foul play here, throw it out there. Let us know. But if they have the right person, we're about to see something we've never seen before. We're about to understand something about the law that we have not come across before. And that's the possible indictment of a young 18-year-old that may have nothing really to do with this, that may have been used as a pawn in this case due to a mental illness. I can only speculate to that degree. But when the evidence is in front of you, you don't have to speculate longer than that. You can come to a point and a conclusion, as most of you already have, that what appeared in this video surveillance footage gave the appearance of Darian Brown taking a child from his bed. That's all we have. And if he's guilty, that's what he's guilty of, period. Nothing more, nothing less. And he deserves to be accountable for it. But for the murder of that child, and to be charged with capital murder of that child, then they got to come a lot harder and a lot heavier with the evidence to nail that one down. If you agree with me, type a 1. If you don't, type a 2. They have to come a lot harder and a lot heavier to nail that charge of capital murder down on Darian Brown. And we have seen in various different cases where the police have just totally screwed up. We saw that in the Kanika Jenkins case, on how heavy-handed and how foul the Rosemont Police Department handled that case. It looked like the police were working for the Crowne Plaza Hotel. And they stated that Kanika walked into that refrigerator by herself, according to the video surveillance footage. But none of us has seen that. To this day, none of us has seen that. But yet the narrative is still holding so far in that case. Ms. Teresa Martin is still fighting for justice for her daughter in that case today, going on 4 years. What, Kanika was at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people, the wrong circumstances, and the wrong thing happened, and she ended up dead in the back of a commercial size, industrial size freezer in an area she was not even supposed to get to. But yet that's the narrative. And here we go again. Cash Gernon, taken from his crib. An individual to look like Darian Brown takes him out of his crib for Lord knows for whatever reason. Yet there's been no motive established. This wasn't a car he was peeking in to try to break into, to try to get an item out of that car so that he can convert it to cash, because that's the street life. You have to ask yourself, what would make an 18-year-old go into somebody's house that he may have been acquainted with, and is from far from what we know he was, to take a child from their crib and take him away and just murder him in the street? Where's the gain? Where's the profit? Where's the turn for him? I said in my last live, did Cash do something to Darian? Something so bad that Darian had to turn around and get him back for something? Was the music that was played by possibly Cameron Morey and a couple of his associates, you know, that song that came out shortly right after this video surveillance footage came out regarding taking a baby? Does that have or play a very important part in this case? Well, you better believe it. Because between the video surveillance footage that you've just watched moments ago and that song, they came out almost shoulder to shoulder. Was Darian Brown influenced by the words of the song? If you've listened to it, the song kind of plays it out. The individuals who are singing or rapping that song kind of plays out what we see before us. So does that have anything to do with this case? Is that a part of the intent? If Darian Brown's mental condition was just that of listening to this song and maybe many times influenced his condition to do just that? Is there a possibility? Possibility, yes, but it's the probability part that's going to be addressed. Yes, Miss Mary Martins, and I hear your opinion. Those people and punks are capable of everything and anything. These are young kids in their teens messing around with guns. So that should tell you something there. They need to have guns at that age. Well, to do what? To protect themselves against what? Drug running in the street, possible prostitution that they're involved with, possible drug running that they're involved with, the possible burglary that they're involved with. That's what they need weapons for. That will also come out as well. We hope so. And the only person that's going to really bring that out is Heath Harris, because it's part of his defense. And it would be smart enough for him to get depositions from every single one of Cameron's associates, every single one that was associated with not only Cameron, but also associated with Darian. Did they all go to school together? We'll find that out. But let me not belabor what I wanted to do here tonight. I just want you to get a good fresh start, a fresh pair of eyes to see what I see, understand certain elements about what has been seen. Your perception plays a very important part in understanding what's before you, because what's before you will be before you again. John Q can only do but so much in bringing you what I see, giving you from my perspective. And that's exactly what it is, my perspective as to how I'm looking and analyzing and viewing and researching and trying to understand and connect some of the dots, not all of them, some of the dots. There are other YouTubers far smarter than me on YouTube that's sharing that information with you right now. I've shared them with you on my previous lives. We do have a very good idea as to what's going on here. We do understand, not all, just some of them. Just some of them. Paying careful attention, close attention, seeing what you see and knowing what you know, having a better idea a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th time around as to what is being shown here. Is a very interesting portion of this case. What I'm going to do is to drop the link, because, as I said, I'm under certain time constraints. Is to drop the link. And maybe have a couple. Oh, okay. Well, we've got that done and out the way. Tried to hit the invite. I'll bring it back if I need to. Drop the link in the chat and have either Boss Blake, Kenny Earl share with you their insights as to what they have been able to come across, maybe even some of their conclusions as to where they believe this case is going. Thank you, Ms. Marcina. And thank you all for those of you who's made a comment on the lives covering this case. It has been absolutely, mind-blowing in what some of you has shared with me in regards to the lives that I've done. I thank you for that. To get back to every single one of you, it's been tough, but I've tried to either give you a like, a heart, to let you know I've read your comment. It's the quickest way I can let you know that I have laid my eyes on it. For me to process any questions or thoughts that you have left me. Some of you asked me certain questions. I wish I was there at the crime scene to actually physically be involved in that, to take a look at it for myself, because that's the most important part about this case that's left out. It's the physical appearance of being there in the physical room, at the physical property, meeting the people, covering the crime scene, boots on the ground, if you will. We can only do a small portion here online. That's what we have been doing, is just a small portion. But on my channel, it's just enough to take you there as best as I can. It's just enough to get your attention to look at certain things that I'm looking at, and together we can walk shoulder to shoulder in a virtual reality, if we will, together to try to see the same things. And once again, it's only by degrees. Do we see the same things? Because we do see those same things. Miss Deborah is back with us. And it better not be Miss Deborah alone. I didn't do this live just to have Miss Deborah come up here now. How you doing, Miss Deborah?
I'm good. So I just have one question. In the photo where they're releasing the balloons, there were 3 boys standing together. There was Cameron, Honcho Band, and then there was a shorter guy. Who is the shorter guy?
Good question. And you see, not being there physically for us to actually speak with the individuals that we believe that are involved in this case has a downside to it. It does have a downside to it. But seeing them there together could implicate a lot of different things.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I am onto something, and I believe I have found a motive, but I don't want to speak out until someone maybe in the chat can give an identification or something to that effect to
Okay.
validate who I believe it is.
Okay. Okay. So now here, hence we meet a crossroads in the case, a possible crossroads at that. If you have that information and it is leading you to believe in a in an in-depth way as to the possible individuals who are involved, then it does put a positive light to say that Darian Brown was not the only person that's involved in this case regarding this crime.
No,
Well, okay, that would be
no,
safe to say. And,
yes.
and saying it that way, and I'm being very careful as well, and
Hmm.
saying it that way, if you have found evidence that produces that information,
Hmm.
we must be very careful. We have to be very critical of that.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to ask you to hold on
Hmm.
and maybe go through some thoughts and think
Hmm.
about maybe how you want to address it, if you'd like to address it here tonight on this live.
No, I don't. I don't want to address. I just want to find out who he is so that I can validate who I suspect he is, and then that would also further validate my, I guess, theory of a motive.
Okay.
And once all of that is set, then I can present it. But right now, I just need to have, I think I know who it is, but I would like for someone who maybe knows to verify that.
Okay. And to have it corroborated correctly so that this way you don't go out into an area of speculation, possibly,
Right.
that would discredit any of your thoughts pertaining to what you just said, and that makes sense. And
And
this is the way to handle information, especially that type.
yeah, I mean, I would not want to implicate a wrong person.
Right. Exactly. And so, with that said, if Boss Blake is in the chat room, please, brother. Hopefully, we're not taking like 6 hours like we did in one of our lives for you to come up. If Tiffany Marie is here, if AB is here, please hit the link and come up because a lot of the lives that I was able to be a part of on the other content creator channels, we've been addressing these issues. And at the same time, too, I'm being educated to look into specific areas, such like yourself, Miss Deborah, to look at specific pieces of information that may not even be a part of this case as of yet.
Yeah. I'm not, and also I want to clarify that when I'm asking about the identification, I'm not saying that that person is involved or that person did anything. I'm just wanting that person identified to
Okay.
see if it corroborates with my thinking, and but I'm not implicating at all at this
Okay.
point. I'm not, I'm just, I guess you could say, like the police say, person of interest.
Okay. Jennifer Rebecca is in the chat, and she is suggesting a particular name or individual. She is suggesting that it's neighborhood Nike, Nike. Could that possibly be a person of interest in this case? Neighborhood Nike.
I don't know. I haven't heard that name before.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to point that out.
Where do they get that name from? How do they come? How did they do they know that person? How did they come up with that name? I'm
I,
just
bel
curious.
I believe that Tiffany Marie God bless her. She's done fabulous work on this case too. Did some digging around and found some, I guess, underground videos that were done extensively, that were done with Cameron Morey and a group of individuals surrounding the body of the videos, that a person by the name of Neighborhood Nike may be a part of that association, and in a way had a major influence of some kind in this particular case. And she had posted it on TM. I think I'm subscribed to her new channel. If someone can, if you know the actual name of Tiffany's new channel on where the videos are, if you could just post that in the chat room, that would be great. But Tiffany Marie has done some extensive checking at her leisure and on some critical time into looking at other people that were there at the memorial. And in and around that particular area, we begin to see a whole lot of a different ambience, if you will, because of that memorial. That in TM True Crimes is the channel. TM True Crimes. Those of you who know Tiffany Marie know she does good work. Please subscribe to her channel. TM True Crimes is where you will find that video to get a little bit more of an insight as to possible associations surrounding Cameron Morey.
Okay, I've got it written down, and I'm
Okay,
definitely going to do that.
very good.
Because I think I'm onto something.
Okay, good, and I'm glad that you're here to share that information with us, because that is an area that I'm also digging in as well to try to glue together some of the pieces that are not a part of this case as of yet, but may become a major part of this case as we go forward. I believe that Cameron Morey, being the individual who this whole case is around and surrounded, has got more to say about this case and more than we know about this case surrounding him than we do with Darian Brown. And once again, as I stated before, victimology plays a very important part. Did Trevor Gernon know Darian Brown during the time that he was there with Monica Sherrard? And if so, in which way? Was it street associated? Was it out of just being a part of the neighborhood, just being a neighbor in the hood, so to speak? And what else and whom else Trevor Gernon was able to identify as being in the Sherrard house and in and around Monica Sherrard and Cameron Morey and Emily and the host of others that we do see in the video surveillance footage of various different lives, short little TikTok or Instagram lives that gather more information as to how that household was ran. So somebody sent me a check your email, John. Thank you, Jennifer. I certainly will. And Deborah, if you want to speak and speak what's on your mind, feel free. Be my guest. Let me just check a couple of things out in my email, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Wow, I'm on the spot. Basically, I don't know why, but I just feel so intrigued because personally, I feel my heart just goes out to this innocent child. Um, we need justice for him, but also too, in my heart, I just feel like that somebody's being framed. And if somebody's being framed, then that means that there's still somebody out there who is capable of doing this. And then not only are they capable of doing this, but they're also capable of framing somebody. And that person needs to be held accountable. The father needs to be held accountable for allowing this to even happen. I don't know if he was there, if he wasn't there, I don't know if he was part of it, if he wasn't part of it. But the fact of the matter is, something happened to allow this to happen that shouldn't have happened. And these people need to be held accountable because this innocent person, this child that is not going to be able to grow up. And he's got a brother that's going to carry that missing part of him for the rest of his life. And that is going to be part of his identification. He is going to identify with that the rest of his life. Oh, you're the brother of the brother that was murdered, or however they're going to put it. That is a heavy burden to carry the rest of your life. And he's just innocent. They're just innocent victims. And I also believe that in my heart, I believe that Darian Brown is an innocent victim. I don't think he's innocent as he might not be part of it. He might be part of it, but he's innocent in that he's the only one being framed for it.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Joining us is the real Special K.
Kenny,
welcome to the platform.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hi, Kenny.
Hey,
Kenny, is that you?
Yeah.
Now you come in the real Special K. Okay, the Special Kenny. Okay. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to cut the sound off on the actual page when I was watching it.
Can you hear me? Did you?
Yeah, because it was echoing, huh?
Yeah. Did you send me something by email?
No, not yet. I had to go ahead and jump in here, y'all. She started talking. I was like, she's getting there. She's getting close.
Okay.
She's getting close because I'm gonna send you a picture with every single one of these guys in the picture. Every single person who has something almost to do with it, except for one person, because they refuse to go to the Bloom release. Because he knows what's up. I'm telling you, all those pictures were in the same driveway of supposedly Darian breaking into cars. It's either like two are happening in two driveways, or the guy has four, or he has two, or either he has two trucks, because that white car and that gray Honda is almost every single one of those pictures. Those are different people. That's Honcho Band's like grabbing the car with the white gloves. And the other guy who breaks the camera, that's way too small to be Darian. And I told you they Photoshop. If you can I'm gonna send you the pictures so you can put them up. You're gonna see that his eyes are too far apart. Like, this is not Darian. Like, somebody Photoshopped those eyes on that picture. That's not even a person's face. Like, that's the little guy that she's talking about, the little dude. They're all standing next to each other, and Benny Keys he walks up on them, and they all get the nervous face. They all like, oh, like, what's going on? And I think the last guy that they showed when they said, oh, the neighborhood's still being terrorized, I think he's standing behind them. He's standing behind them. He doesn't really walk up, but you still see. I'm gonna show you a picture. He's in the picture too. It's like all of them are in the same picture. Like, boop, there they go.
Yeah, and Cameron's baby mama is part of it too.
Look, she's in the picture. All of them are in the picture except for the neighbor.
They all look guilty.
The neighbor who said, I didn't want to come because of something that happened at the meeting or something. He said.
He thought it was canceled or something.
No, he said that he got him riled up or something, and he didn't want to go. Like, all you were talking about is you were the victim, one of the victims too. Like, you threatened your family, got threatened. You're trying to break in your cars and stuff all the time, and threaten you with a hammer. Like, why would they be mad at you for saying that? Right? It's like he makes no sense. But let me tell you what I saw when I was going over that Boom release video the other day. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna wait till John get on here. I'm not gonna make a video on it. Be on your channel, so check it. This is why, I suspected this, and somebody said it the other day too. I'm being kind of suspected this. Like, you got to think the FBI and the police can't be that stupid. If we're looking at all this stuff from the very beginning, if it looks like a setup, then he said he was set up, and then everybody looks like, okay, yeah, it does like he's set up. I mean, he probably most likely was set up. It's like, this what's going on with this video. It makes no sense. I'm telling you, that's the only footage. Let me tell you what's going on. if you look at Benny, oh my God, he is so, I don't know. He has so much good stuff on his stuff, and he doesn't know what he recorded. It's a whole like FBI agent or detective right there in front of them. Mm-hmm. She's following them around. If you go to watch the Bloom release video, pull it. If you watch it, she looks like a regular soccer mom type lady. At first, I had to go. Well, I watched it at first. I'm like, hold on, what is she doing? Then I had to rewind and said, hold on, let's go back and see where she ends up at. At the end of the video, she ends up back over. She ends up by the police. I said, hold on, let's see where she started off at. She started by the police when they released the balloons. Then she made her way across in front of them when everybody was leaving. Then she made her way right there. She walks right in front of Benny and stands right there staring at every single last one of them, like mugging them with her hand up to her face. Because like when she walks in front of Benny and before she stops and stands there and looks at him, it's like she has like a fake looking like sling casting on her arm, like a black one. And she puts her camera or something in her pocket, and she like has her phone tucked into it. And she has her hand up to her mouth, and she's like talking into it. Every time you see her stop in those spots I'm talking about, she's sitting there with her hand up to her mouth talking. And it's another like a Hispanic looking girl who looks like a regular girl. She just walked. You got to go to the video and watch it. You're like, what are they doing? Okay. They are talking to somebody. You're like, they're talking to somebody. And then when Benny leaves, she ends up going back over there by the police and standing right there. It's like, she's watching them because she didn't go there and like say condolences or anything. She stood right there, like probably in kicking distance of Cameron or something, and just looked at him like she wanted to snatch their souls out. Everybody. He was like, who is she? I'm like, hold on, what is that? They was like, it's a cell phone. We was all sitting here looking at it like, it's a phone or something. She's talking to somebody. So I believe they're all getting investigated. Mm-hmm. Just keep it from everybody. FBI's investigating them. Okay, they know what's going on. Okay. I don't think Darius in jail.
All right, so now with that said, Kenny, with that said, Kenny, what is it saying loudly to you?
They know that Darian didn't do this. They're investigating the whole family. They know what's going on, but they got to build an investigation on them. They can't just lock them up, right away. They got to say it's them, what they did exactly, whose part is who, because there's so many people in it. All those little guys, and they so stupid. They went to that thing. They hung out together. They should have been far away apart from each other for them next year or something like that. After they did all this mess,
and as far as we could see too, Honcho is shoulder to shoulder with Cameron during the time of the balloon release.
There's all three of them are sitting right next to each other. The little guy is the one who ran up and smashed that camera, and I think he's in the background of the picture with the guy they said had a gun in his hand and he was going through the cars out there. Like there's still people going through the cars. He's in the background walking because he's real short. He's like covered. He had a hoodie on or something. He's walking by. Like they all hang out together.
Yeah, they do. They do. That I've seen on MT Make This Video Go Viral TV. Miss V had shared that on her channel of the guys, the fellas, doing a lot of gun waving, doing a lot of money fantailing. They're standing outside of the residence, listening to the music video or the video that had the song on it regarding cash, pictures such as the ones that we see regarding honcho bands, and just a number of elements there to say that there is a gang-related, street clique-related association that does surround the Sherrod house regarding this case. And you're bringing out elements of it right now, and I'm leaning towards you in your favor as to some of the findings that you're discussing with us tonight.
Yeah, because I'm gonna send you this picture of this lady. I was trying to get all the spots that she was in, because I know you probably didn't want to play his video on the Bloom release, unless somebody else did. Somebody else, I don't have
which video.
It's not even his video. It's that other guy's video. No thanks. Investigates.
Right, that would be Doug's channel.
Yeah, because if you play,
I think that would be Doug's channel.
You're gonna see this lady.
Yeah, I don't have. certain permissions from Doug to play any of his content. So if Doug is in the room, hopefully he can give us permission to play that video piece. And I'm just trying to give us a little bit.
Oh my God, look at her sitting right here, right in front of him. It's like, I was like, what is she doing? Like, she just stood in front of him and just like looked like she wants to beat them up. And I'm like, no, she's talking into her cast.
Yeah.
What?
Is Doug in here?
It's like,
Is Doug in here? I'm just asking. Out of 200 people, my goodness, y'all knock me out with the numbers every time I come on. Is Doug in the room? If he's not, somebody go get Doug. Somebody instant message him or
call him.
Because that's one of the things that that's one of the things that I'm very careful about when playing other people's content. If I know and feel in some way, shape, or form that I do have certain permissions to play it or to share it, I certainly will and give my commentary on it, and not to hurt the content creator either, but to collaborate in the findings that the content creator posted it to begin with. But when we have individuals like Honcho Ban, Neighborhood Nike, these names are starting to come out here. And if there is a Dallas Police Department investigation still taking statements, those statements will get to Heath Harris, Darian Brown's defense attorney, for deposition.
He probably don't know. I'm telling you, because they probably don't want to blow us what's going on. Like, Darian's probably not even getting charged with this stuff at all. You see, think about his mom moved. Why did his mom move? They probably got Darian. They moved away. So while the whole investigation thing is going on, you know what I'm saying? Because his mom been dropping clues on everybody the whole time. Like, you were talking about it, but you don't understand. Like, how does his mom know that? Think that he was set up when he said he was set up? He was in jail, and then he came out and said that after she did. I think he's like, I think he's been set up or whatever, something. And then Heath Harris came out and said, well, he said it's not him on the video. He's set up. It's like, they're not even talking to each other. Then she said, I think somebody did something. I think somebody killed the child at the house and then they transport him in the truck. Then people kind of think that too, like, it's like, and it was kind of like, yeah, that's what probably happened. Like, she just started busting out saying all these little things real quick here and there. It's like, don't believe what you see. Are you here? Like she's like giving you clues. Like, I think they say, like, drop a little hints out there and like get them scared a little
bit. Believe what you feel.
Like, I think she's like,
yeah, she said something about believing what you feel.
Right. Like, and you held on. I held on to that, and it's like, boom, look what I ended up finding. It's like, she knows. She think the family got something to do with it or something. She's like, they killed him at the house or something. The child that died at the house and they transport his body. Like, she knows what's going on. Like, they know what's going on. They moved because she probably got there and they went somewhere. They got him off somewhere hidden or something, and they investigate him. So they won't try to kill him or do nothing to him. That's because I'm telling you, I'm looking at this picture of this lady right now. You gotta see. You need to go. It's like within the 32nd minute of the video, on almost to the end, like when Benny walks off, you are going to see this lady in almost every single frame. She's going to get closer and closer, really close, and just be standing next to them with her arm like crossed with the other arm like up to her mouth. Unless she gets a cast on her arm, but it ain't no cast because she got a phone or something tucked in there. Like, you see it right when she walks right in front of him, and you see it in there. Like, she's like, she moves it or adjusts it or something, and she just keeps her hand over her mouth the whole time, everywhere she's at. And she walked over there in front of the police, like, they don't see her. Because I was making a joke, and I was like, man, I said, I'm going to get a whole picture of everybody who's guilty. And they had every single last one of them said, and the police are right there in the corner. It was like, bloop. And I'm like, oh, who's this lady? Like, why is she in their face? I'm like, what is she about to do? And I'm like, oh, she got something in there. Right. He was like, hold on, she's talking to somebody. And then I noticed this other lady too.
And seeing
walk across the field, it was weird.
And
like
CME 92. Yeah, CME 92 said, those folks don't care if Darian Brown dies. kill himself or get killed or anything else. Uh, I
He a
think
witness.
there was a recent.
Think about it. He probably
Yeah.
knows what he probably knows something. He probably didn't have nothing to do it, but he probably knows what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because his brother hangs out.
Yeah.
Like somebody brought up the other day, it might be some gang initiation thing. Because did you see the video with Honcho Bands that I think Tiffany Marie had the other day?
Yeah. Yeah.
When he was like, "I'll snatch your baby." He's "I'll snatch your." He said, "I'll snatch your baby and run." I'm like, hold on. People just don't say that. That's something they got. That's something probably they do with some gang.
Exactly.
Right. So you know what?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And that's
they all try.
And
that's why
that's what I brought up.
That's the old guy. That it probably did happen. That was not. It was not Darian though.
Right.
I can tell you
that's
that.
That's what I had brought up in I believe part 5 and 6 that these young dudes, these fellas, believe in initiating, into their group in a way for trust purposes, and run together.
When did Monica say she came in? When was the date? Because I believe I heard it somewhere. But what date did she say that she came and started staying back with her parents? Because it was this year that she came with Trevor, right?
Right.
Started staying at the house. She said that was
right.
Watch this. When did the child almost get kidnapped? What date was that?
This was back in February. This was back in February. We're going back
February
to
watch this February.
I believe it was February 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
She said she got here on Valentine's Day with Trevor,
which would be the 14th.
How did she go? Why was she like, oh, don't do nothing to him or something like that because he's busy? She wasn't here. I just thought about that when you was on the live. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, didn't they say something about the 14th on Valentine's Day? Like that child almost got snatched up on what day? I said, that don't even make any sense. Hey,
right.
What was she?
Now we have Tiffany.
The Pinkertons.
We do have
in the house.
Yeah, Kenny, we have Tiffany Marie up in the building right now. Let me see if I can do this.
I'm gonna snap a picture of this lady. I'm trying to catch it with her talking into the thing, walking in front of the camera so you can see it. Because it's like she's obviously watching it. She's very obvious. Okay. But they're not paying attention to her. It's like, how don't they don't see her? They just have a bright vest on, like the brightest person out there. Look at this.
Okay. All right. I'm going to drop the link for Tiffany Marie in the chat room right now because she's brought to light some extraordinary information on Honcho Bands, and she's doing some very serious digging in regards to the association surrounding this particular case with the people that are involved and whatnot. So to have her just join us. I'll set that up here. And I just dropped the link into the chat room for Miss Tiffany Marie to join us. And let me start my computer. Okay, Tiffany. Okay. Because now we're starting to see, especially from that balloon release, we're starting to see the names of individuals start to grow into the case. And usually, if you have a situation like this, and this is the aftermath of that crime, culprits seem to come back together for some strange reason to make sure that if there's a story out there, they want to make sure, they want to make sure that that narrative is still out there, and they cut themselves from any and all ties regarding anything that may mention their name in that narrative. To say
they know they're being watched.
To say what you just said, to say what you just said, and to have certain individuals at that balloon release, at Cash's balloon release, does start to shed some more light on the fact of people showing up at different places, different times.
Like, I'm looking at this. Miss Pinkerton walked up and she looked at that lady, and they all hugging each other, but they're not really hugging. They sitting there whispering each other. They know they're being watched by this lady. That's why all of them are moving and stuff. They know they're being watched. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this again. It's like,
yeah, it is. It is.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna send you these pictures right now.
Okay, Miss Deborah, you're still with us?
Yes, I am. I was wanting to say that
Okay.
I agree, and with the gang initiation, and I can kind of show that with where I'm leading. But I would like to hear from Tiffany Marie, because I need to know the names of these individuals, and I can show you how they're communicating and letting the out there know that, hey, this is where I stand in this gang, and this is what I'm doing and all that. But I need to know these individuals, who they are and stuff like that first.
I think they're gangster disciples or whatever. GDs. Let me see.
Right.
Because their colors.
I think Nate Brooks.
They wear the same
Nate
colors.
Brooks,
They're like cartoon
did
characters.
make a comment. Yeah, did say, can you please get a clear pic of the fake DB so the world can see it's not DB? And
There's
that
not
comes
gonna be
from Nate Brooks.
It's not going to be a clear one of him because his eyes are that part of his face, those big glasses that Honcho Band's had on in that picture you showed.
Right.
All that is going to be obscured or whatever. It's not going to be clear because the light, the infrared doesn't go through it, so it's going to blur it out instantly. That's why his eyes look like big dots, but it's not dots. It's a reflection from the what you call it hitting his eye. It's weird. You got to put on some glasses and go stand in front of infrared, like the camera, night vision camera.
Right.
You see, like that's like you can basically become invisible if you get a shield, like a glass shield to put over your face. Like you can walk in front of every camera, it will bleep you out. You do whatever you want. Nobody will ever know it's you.
Okay. Nate, if you have that picture and want to send it, Nate, if you have that picture and you want to send it to me, you can send it to me to my email. John.
Here's a picture of him. Here's a picture of him.
All right, let me see what you're doing. Hold on one second. Okay. Because if you're showing something or sharing something, while we wait for Tiffany Marie to boot up her computer, just put that link back in the chat so she can grab a hold of that. Yeah, Nate, if you have that picture, if you wanted to send it to me, John Q. CUE001 at gmail.com. I think I got Tiffany somewhere on my, hold on. And I believe I do.
So what he's trying to say, that is DB.
Hold on.
I mean, because you can see his face.
All right,
clear.
I believe I'm getting Tiffany to join us right now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Miss Tiffany, John? How are you?
How are you?
Yes, I hear you. I'm doing good. Welcome to the panel.
Stream. I got a text to come over here. So are you trying to look at Honcho Bands and Neighborhood Nike?
Yeah, we've been looking at specific people in tonight's live, and Honcho Brands did come up, and your name came up because I brought it up. of the work that you're doing in reference to finding certain individuals surrounding this case and what they're doing online and making either Instagram or Snapchat videos and making this case, I would say, a whole lot more transparent in terms of associations with each other concerning people around Cameron Morey, Darian Brown, possibly Emily, and Monica Sherrod.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Emily. She's a
She was in the
minor, so
house.
I've never really dug into the kids. You know what I mean?
That's her talking to him. When Darian turns around in that video, when he turns around from the crib, he says, he's half asleep. And then that's her saying, because it can't be what's her name's voice. Her voice is too deep. She says what? She whispers what to him. And he's
So
like,
you hear another voice on the.
oh, I hear 3 different voices.
Okay.
4. His voice, that's clearly grandpa laughing or whatever. That's an old man laughing, an older man. You hear Cameron's voice at the very end. It's real light. You hear him. I'm gonna tell you what they said. Okay. You hear Darian, he walks in and then a door opens. You can hear the door open like real good. Somebody comes to the door. That's why he turns around and he looks. And then he's like, he's half asleep. And then she says, what? He's like, oh, you thought I couldn't come over here anymore. Now you about to move. Mm-hmm. And then you hear the grandpa go, and then you hear Cameron walk in and he says, what'd he say? It's like clear.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Kenny. What if that is the person? Can you hear me?
Hold on.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is this. So if these people are disguised as Darian,
Yep.
would they not portray themselves as Darian and say, oh, you thought I couldn't come over anymore? And it not be Darian, but the person portraying themselves as Darian.
That was Darian in that video. That's clearly
in the daylight video
yeah.
or
the daylight.
In the daylight video, you can hear Darian talking, and you know it's Darian.
Yeah.
How do you know it's Darian for sure?
Because it looks like Darian.
but the person that's walking,
how he's walking, his whole demeanor.
Right, but listen to me. But you're comparing him to a video where he's walking along the wooded fence. Is that correct?
No.
How are you?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that video and the video from when he's in jail. He clearly walks a certain way. I talked about it.
Okay.
See, I don't think Darian walks at all like that in the nighttime footage.
Exactly.
I feel like
he doesn't.
The person walking. I'm going to tell you something. The person walking along the wooded fence is not the same person that was arrested and walking in jail. He is the same person that was in the video in the daylight, but I don't believe it was Darian Brown. And I can tell you why. I have blowed up that picture. I have taken that picture of that gentleman walking along the fence piece by piece. I took measurements from the person standing along the same level as the washing machine at the end of the fence row. I measured my washing machine that is the same type of washing machine and projected his height and everything. It is not a 6 foot tall person. The person walking along the fence line is not Darren Brown, and he carries his cell phone in his right pocket. He has the same pants on at the balloon release as he does in that video, walking along the fence line, and his cell phone is in the same pocket and it's shaped exactly the same. He just has a belt on in the video with the fence line. It is not Darren Brown in that fence line video.
Oh well.
Who are you talking about at the balloon release?
So this little short dude?
Yes.
The little short dude had a ankle monitor on when Cash was killed. He was on an ankle monitor. He got that off like I think it was maybe a couple days later. I have to check on the date. I could go to his Instagram and find out, but he had an ankle bracelet on. So
But
neighborhood Nike is completely out of the question, unless his address is at Monica's house and he was supposed to be there. So I guess they'd have to look into that.
He had an ankle monitor on in 10 weeks before it was 10 weeks before the kidnapping.
Oh, 10 weeks before?
Yeah, that's when he was at the fence.
I think no, I'm talking about Nike, the kid that wears the all red with Cameron all the time.
Oh,
that's not who I'm talking about.
Oh, the little dude. No.
This
is another guy she's talking about.
I'm talking about a different person.
He's a lighter skinned guy. He's a little bit lighter. He's real
Who
short.
are you talking about, Deborah?
Okay, I'm talking about a person. I believe he's wearing a white hoodie.
A white hoodie and black pants.
Yes, and
he hugs Monica.
He's wearing the same white
very
pants.
Close to Monica. He doesn't take his eyes off her.
He's wearing the same pants, walking along the fence line with the same cell phone shape in his right pocket.
That is him. You're right.
I don't agree with you.
Yes.
That might be him. That might be him. I think it might be.
Yes. If you and
agree.
also too, he's also wearing something under his t-shirt and walking along the fence.
That might be him.
Under his right chest, from his neck down to just below his rib cage, he has something under his shirt. I don't know if it's a weapon. I don't know what it is, but he's got something. He's got he's got his cell phone exactly in the same place, in the same pants at the balloon place as he does walking along the fence.
Okay, so are you talking about the kid with the white hoodie on right here?
Yes.
Okay. And who do you think that matches? The person walking at the fence?
Yes.
This is crazy.
Okay.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yes.
I'm looking right at him right now. That does look like the guy. Because you know what?
I disagree.
Because Darian.
Okay, but there's a washing machine and a trash can at the end of that fence row on the left. And as he is walking to the end of that, if you like, I took geometry. I've taken so many courses in college. I know how to do this. This person is not tall. This is not tall.
He's not.
No.
Well, just remember though that the cameras are up, mounted on top of a house. I would imagine like above the garage area or something.
Exactly.
I'm 6'2".
Okay,
so I can kind of see. I can kind of compare how tall they are.
Please listen to me. Please listen to me. Please listen to me. So I agree. Yes. Yeah. So you have two fixed objects to determine the man's height. Mm-hmm. One fixed object is the washing machine. The other one is the fence. Okay. And also too, we also have a basketball goal that I used also, but the camera stays the same angle as the person is walking. His height is going to adjust according to the distance and the angle, but the fixed objects don't. But when he reaches a fixed object, that is going to be the exact same height as the object. And so if you take a ruler and you make it at the same level as the fence row, and you make it and you pull it down to the level of the washer and dryer, then you can adjust. Then you can figure out the man's height. He is not 6 foot tall. He is nowhere near 6 foot tall. This is a short person.
Sorry, I can't get on board with you.
Want me to tell you?
Okay, that's fine.
You know what? A privacy fence is, guess what? Privacy fence is 6 feet tall. So he's 6 feet tall.
There are privacy fences. No, there are privacy fences that are anywhere from 5 foot tall to 10 foot tall. You can have a privacy fence as tall or as short as you want. We can't say that we know it's 6 foot tall. But look at the basketball goal. Look at how the bottom of the net is.
I can because I'm 6 feet tall and I know what it looks like.
Pull up that.
I know what it looks like.
Let's look at the picture.
Okay, folks.
Of what she's talking about.
So I'm agreeing with her. That's not Darian. That is not Darian. That is that guy. Now think about it. That is that guy. I'm agreeing with her.
No, I believe that it's Darian at the fence.
Just like that smashing the camera thing. That's not Darian.
You can see the shape of his face, though. He has a very distinct.
They photoshopped that because I tried to freeze frame it. You can't freeze his face, but they have a picture with his eyes. I'm gonna send it. Or you can pull it up. His eyes are they're like he's like an alien. somebody did very bad Photoshop. His eyes are super far apart. Like they're twice the length they're supposed to be far apart. It's like that don't even look right.
Now we have to remember too, when I came on live tonight, I did say that we had certain time constraints because of StreamYard giving me a notification based on the number of minutes or hours I had left before I ran out of time. And so, you know, I appreciate your discussion tonight. Thank you so much, Ms. Tiffany Marie, to join the panel and give your insight, because you've really covered. Yeah, you're definitely given this case some very, very good coverage in the investigative work that you're able to do. And before us now, is this Kurt Pinkerton?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Kurt Pinkerton, good old Kurt, who happened to have made a Facebook post, and I posted that in my last live, in regards to him knowing that there is a third party who actually videotaped the crime. And so he brings in the third party aspect himself by making that post. You follow where I'm going?
Yep. He sure did.
3 people.
Okay. By him doing that, there should be on file a statement from Kurt Pinkerton regarding that third party, whom he said videotaped the crime, knew it was Darian Brown, and it's on a cell phone. Are points to that post what he's made. Now, I'm sure Heath Harris, Darian Brown's defense attorney, is going to want a deposition from him that made that statement public on Facebook, because that is vital, critical information to this case. If there is a video of Darian Brown actually committing this murder, then therefore the DA will have this case down pat, lock, stock, and barrel pertaining to convicting Darian Brown. I pulled this up, and thank you. Much thanks goes out to No Thanks Investigates. This is Doug's video, who happened to have captured the balloon release for Cash Gerner. And I don't know if I passed certain areas.
You can go for. Were you trying to catch all of them at one time?
If I need to, I'll start from here.
You can go forward. I would say you can go forward. You can go forward when they let the balloons go. They're all standing like at an angle pointing towards the car. You see everybody.
Right, because this. Okay, so I'm going to start where we actually start to see some individuals. And Miss Tiffany, if you can, I begin to, because I know you covered this as well on your channel. If you can begin to, I guess, help us or walk us through some of the information in this footage as it pertains to the people. Okay.
Leslie Pinkerton's holding the balloons right here in the pink shirt and the brown hair. That's Kurt's
in the
wife.
pink shirt. Okay.
Yep. Monica's right underneath the other side of the balloons.
Okay.
In the floral dress. Cameron's right here in the gray.
Okay.
To the side of him in the blue, I believe, and I'm not certain, I believe that is the sister of Huncho Bands that's dating Cameron and has a baby with him. I could be incorrect. I need to see the rest of the. I haven't watched this in a while, so let me just make sure I know who I'm talking about. And Nike is standing right here in the white. That's his name. He calls himself Neighborhood Nike. He's the one I put up a couple videos of the other day.
Then that's who we were talking about. That's who we were talking about.
Yeah.
In those videos.
Right. And now where my arrow is, would that be Nike?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So everybody's eyes, as they perceive this scene to be to them, can get a little bit more of an identification factor built into what we're talking about here.
Can I tell you something? Something about Darian?
We've got. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I know in those some of those videos you made leading up to this one, you talked about the side, his edge up, his hairline, Darian's.
Yeah, sideburns.
You said it matches up, but you know what? His hair is like it was like a cut into a box fade, and then it turned into dress. His hair is shaved off on the side. If you look at it, it wouldn't look like that. It's like you got to really look at it because somebody else brought it up, and there's not too many pictures of Darian. So, but it's shaved right down the side. It's faded, so it wouldn't be thick like that. It wouldn't be thick like that on the side. So that's not him, and that's really not him at nighttime.
Now, do we have this individual here being Honcho Bands in the background?
Yeah, that's Honcho.
Now that is a tall person. My God,
look at them gloves.
He's extremely tall, and his feet are.
He's standing on top of that thing.
Yeah, he's standing on the curb, which is going to make him a little taller than usual.
Emily is taller than all of them.
Very good, Deborah. Very good. Okay. And thank you for that observation, because I was going to state that it looks like there is a step up from the parking lot area that does give him the appearance of being taller. And as we get close, because this is getting close to the actual balloon release itself, I believe Kurt Pinkerton had stated a prayer just before the balloon release, and the camera.
You know why they look taller than they look? You know why they look a little taller than what they do in that bedroom? Because remember I told you that the camera was in the wrong spot. It's faced up. It's pointed up, so it kind of it makes them look like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're taller than what they are.
So now here we have Honcho Bands being a bit more closer to us now.
Yeah.
Look at his arm, like how he bends his arm, and he's messing with that. That's him messing with that car with those gloves on.
And obviously he is wearing
gloves, a lot of these kids wear gloves. I noticed that in the videos on.
You can see his stance.
Okay, I want to point out here, what this is stop it right here, and I'll show you. You can see that if you'll go back just a little bit when his arms are down, you can see that his shoulders are back. He holds his chest out, whereas Cameron, you can see, rolls his shoulders forward. And in the nighttime video, the person standing there has their shoulders forward.
Well, Honcho Bands, his feet are too big to be the person that was in the bedroom, so he's completely off the table for me.
They all wear 12.
Well, they switched shoes. They wore the same pair of shoes, but they switched when they switched outfits. Like Kenny said, when they switched people, they switched shoes and everything. So
he might get smaller on one.
He might have crammed his feet in there. I don't know.
Think anybody could switch shoes with Honcho Bands. Honestly, I mean,
those are $30 shoes. I mean, those are some $30 shoes though. They're like $30. But Cameron's feet are about that.
I don't think because
they're white. They're white shoes. The white shoes make them look, because they're white, they look bigger, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually had one of my friends alter the photo to finish out the bottom of his jeans, because I said, you know what? I think that his jeans being white
real
too
tight
adds to how big they look. But I've got other photos of him where his feet are extremely large. So
yeah, I do have a question for Kenny, since we're on the issue of the feet. So the gentleman walking down the fence row, the wooden fence row, he has on tennis shoes that look identical to the person in the nighttime video.
No, they're not.
They're not. Okay, I just wanted to make sure if they were or weren't.
Yeah, no, those are. I'm telling you, if he can pull them up, they're called Tread Safe Trevor. All the Tread Safe shoes have like people's names. Like
so they're Tread Safe, like when you work in a fast food restaurant, you have to get Tread Safe shoes. I see.
And the specific name for the shoe is Trevor.
Yes. Yeah. You can get them at Walmart.
Yep.
All right, but now we have pretty much the closest thing to a side-by-side comparison between Honcho Bands and Cameron Morey now. And as you can see, when we take a look at this particular shot, they're nearly standing shoulder to shoulder.
Yes. They have the same body, everything.
Yeah. And we can begin to identify a frontal view of shoulder to shoulder. Cameron's is a little bit more on the downside, a droop side on his shoulder. His is more up with chest out. Cameron's is more drawn down with his chest in. Both comparatively in the same height range, as we can see. And this was an excellent still to actually capture this way. Yeah,
I got something else because I was going to send it to you, but it's going to take a while to render the video. I put it in 4K so you can see it real good.
Right.
I inverted. I flipped the infrared, so it's like everything looks black, and like it flipped the colors. But when you zoom in on his hair when he's picking that child up, it's clearly not dreadlocks. It's two strand twists. Like they took two pieces of hair and they twisted them around each other. Because you've seen that picture with him with the dreadlocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody twisted the front of his hair. Like you can see what pieces are twisted and which ones aren't. Almost, you can see it's a twist. Like the hair is wrapped around it. Like it's not a dreadlock. It's like two pieces of hair twisted together.
No. I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. If I was looking on Honcho Band's YouTube channel, and in his saved videos, he has since then made them private. And I don't know if I screenshotted them or recorded it or not, but he had videos in there on how to make your hair look that way. He had videos in there on how to make yourself look taller. He had videos in there on how to make screen print t-shirts. He had videos in there that all pertain to everything that is going on.
I wrote a comment on their page for that video, the original one, and I think they end up turning off the comments on the video.
Interesting.
Because I said something, I told him what they did, and basically I wrote out what they did, and he was like, "Bloop."
Very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can blow this up a little bit. Go to full screen.
And you also have to think about this too, because he is a rapper and he does do videos. He did have apps downloaded on how to like manipulate music and add voices and manipulate video. So he knows how to manipulate those videos from the nursery room.
Which would be precisely to say he would also know how to manipulate video on possible video monitors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So breaking it down.
That's what took him so long. That's what took him so long to call the police, is because they were fixing that they was fixing that video. Think about it, they was editing that video.
You literally can't do that. The police took the whole entire camera system.
Okay.
They can't manipulate anything. They took the actual box that goes with it. So there's no way.
Sure they got the right box?
That.
You sure they got the right box? You sure they don't have another box?
Hey, I mean, anything's possible, but as far as I know, they took the whole entire system. There's a box that connects to the cameras themselves. It's separate from the actual camera, and they supposedly took the whole thing. So I'm just thinking along the lines of they're not going to be able to manipulate anything unless, like you said, they had a separate one. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that if somebody was accessing the baby cameras, they would be able to know exactly who and exactly where they were standing, because Arlo is compatible with Google. So I don't think it will be that easy for them to manipulate anything.
Because you can do it and you can save it into the library in there. Just the thing is, they're gonna find, I don't think they know that they can go in there and see that. They can tell what they did to the video by looking at it. Like it's like where was it? What's it called, John? Like when they can tell like what programs the videos.
Yeah, they call it. Yeah, the FBI uses a technique called bit block, and when they bit block a video surveillance footage, such as what they did in the Kanika Jenkins case, bit blocking is capturing everything on the hard drive. It just captures everything from point of being on to when it's off to when it's on to when it's off to when it's on, as much of the data as possible. And they totally copy everything, and they can extend that from not just May 15th, they can go back to May 1st as to see what's on that video surveillance footage from the hard drive. If it's in a cloud and Arlo is compatible with storing on a cloud, they'll get that video data from the cloud itself and compare, and so that this way they have something to compare it to in a time progression. They can go from May 1st to May 15th. They can go to 16, 17, and so on up until the time they captured the video surveillance equipment to be analyzed by forensics.
Let me tell you, it might take them a while too. That's why it's taking them a while.
Yes.
I
Yes,
did a whole bunch of searching about the Arlo. I looked up a whole bunch of stuff about the Arlo. Because I already know how the cameras work and all this kind of stuff in the Arlo. I just recently bought me some cameras before all this happened and all the kind of stuff. They have to with that Arlo system. They have to. It's a main phone connected to that system. They have to get permission when they try to access anything on there. It's gonna send something to the phone, the main phone, and say somebody's trying to access your stuff. And they have to give them permission to it. If they don't give them some permission to it, they can't. They're locked out. They can't get into it. So whoever's phone, they can be like, "Oh, I lost my phone," and then it's gonna make it harder for them. Now we have to break into it. You know what I'm saying?
If you have a court order, and I'm sure that they did, they can capture what they need. Now, can anyone identify this female that's holding the baby in the background?
Emily.
This would be Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And the female next to Huncho Bands.
No, that's the guy. That's Nike. What's his name? What she said his name was?
I don't even think that's Nike looking at.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. That's a different guy. That's the guy that's the guy who smashed that camera.
I'm not sure who this is in the white hoodie. If anybody knows, I would love to know.
I know. I think I know who he is. That's who I was asking the audience when I first came on. Would someone please identify that gentleman? Because I think I know who he is. And
he's the camera guy. He's the dude smashed it.
Yeah, he's the same person that smashed the thing, because I put his face next to that person's face and they are identical except for the guy smashing the camera. He's sucking in his bottom lip because he's trying to
Do you have that picture? I got it. If somebody pull up, I want y'all to look at that picture. That picture's Photoshop.
Yeah, I put them side by side.
Because you can't freeze frame. You can't stop it and see his face. It's just a blur. They put those eyes on there. They put the eyes and the mouth on there. Because I got it stopped at the same place, and it's there's no eyes or nothing there. How do they do that?
Okay, well, I have him profiled. I have him profiled right here.
He's real worried.
And he's also has short dreads.
If you keep going, you'll see him. You'll see him better than that. He looks. Okay. You'll see him.
Okay.
I see where you're going, and his profile does look similar to the person who did take the baby.
Oh no, that's Cameron. That's Cameron. I can prove that's Cameron. His eyebrows. He has a slash in his eyebrows, and you look at it. It's like his eyebrows cut off when he turns around. It doesn't point. The part that points down is missing, and his nose, and those twists in his head.
Okay, so now we have a frontal of the same person, much shorter, definitely than Huncho Bands.
You notice, see how all of them reacting to him?
Okay. I want you to look at. I'm trying to look at his pants. If you look at his right side, where his hand is in his pocket, if you go down just a little bit, you can see his phone sticking out of his pocket. If you look on the video with the guy walking along the fence,
it's the same pants.
It's the same pants with the same phone in the same pocket.
Them tight pants. That is him. But you can see that lady I'm talking about, the agent or whoever she is, pop up in a second. 32, right when 32 minutes mark at, you're gonna see her. Oh, you'll see her before that in the background.
Okay.
You'll see her get closer and closer and closer. She's gonna be standing right there. How we're looking at them, that close to him.
Another individual in the background here. I'm also keeping my eye on.
And that's the guy in the picture when they said they're still terrorizing the neighborhood. And he's filling on the cars.
Okay.
Because he's real tall.
If I can get a little bit more of an idea of who that is. Okay. Keep moving. Okay, getting a little bit more of Honcho Bands here.
You see
Looking at arms. He does have on the, they look like, I don't know if those are plastic see-through latex gloves or, okay.
That's what they are.
All right.
He don't want to touch anything. He know they still watching them. Because watch, you're going to see.
Those gloves those gloves are not medical issued gloves, standard medical. Those are fast food service gloves.
I was about to say that. I was about to say they look like serving gloves. Okay. Very good, Deborah. You are on it. As we can see, this is a
because they can tell if you have gloves on. Because they leave like latex stuff or whatever powder on it. That's why you probably got them on. Because those they just plastic.
All right. Okay. Picking up. Here we have
criminals.
Kurt Pinkerton and Monica Sherrard side by side. Coming into play.
He don't want nothing to do with
this. This is the one who made the Facebook statement. And we have Monica stepping in front of the camera now.
Oh, that was that lady. She walked away. Look, she backed off. She gonna come back.
Yeah.
She walked away. She gonna come back over there.
Okay. Okay. I'm still checking out Honcho Band's height and possible shoe size. And we're definitely looking at a 12. Definitely in the pocket of a 12, perhaps even slightly bigger than that.
I think he's bigger than a 12.
Yeah.
It depends on how
it depends on
how tall somebody is. If we know exactly how tall he is, then we'll be able to tell. Because if he's shorter than 6 feet, then his feet gonna look longer. But if he is 6 feet, then he's wearing a 13. Look at that lady back there.
Okay.
They're gonna be stressing to get their tears out because nobody cries in any video. Nobody lets one tear out, a real tear.
And the sad part about this is the fact that, oh man,
these are all the people.
Yeah, I mean,
they're doing the broom release, and they're the ones who did it.
Supposedly, a neighborhood that really cared for cash.
According to what I've heard, is that nobody even knew the kids were there. Like nobody ever saw them. Is that right, Tiffany?
That's what somebody
said.
What
you heard?
I've heard stories about that too.
I've heard mixed things.
I've also
I know neighbors said they saw them outside in the backyard, but not in the front. Not many people knew the kids were there, from what I understand.
Yeah, because it's like only there for like 2 months.
They were.
And you need to go back and listen to Trevor talk.
March.
Because Trevor, did you listen to Trevor's talk again? He's apologizing to somebody in that video twice for messing up while he was talking.
Yeah. I picked up that Trevor was actually reading his statement.
The first time I was like, he's reading a piece of paper.
While he was, I guess, trying to project some kind of emotion for leaving the boys there. He felt that they were in good hands, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be something that is most certainly going to be on his mind for the rest of his life, now that he's also incarcerated for an entirely different charge himself, along with the other warrants that and other charges that they got him for. It's going to be very interesting as to what they get from him concerning his relationship with Monica Sherrard, if he knew Darian Brown at all, what he thought of him, concerning, I guess, his presence there at the Sherrard house, possibly how he associated with Cameron Maury, Emily, how the Pinkertons came to know Darian Brown.
That's their house. They didn't move out.
What their input was.
I believe they were there. I'm pretty sure they were there, and they moved their stuff. They moved their stuff into the garage that morning. I'm telling you, they was doing all kinds of stuff that morning. That's what took them so long to call the police. And that's probably where they found that carpet at with that blood. Right. And they just like, well, just move the stuff out. And I think I'm telling you, I think he was held hostage or something. They was like, we're gonna do something to the other child if you say anything or something. Because he was reading out a piece of paper. And he was like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to finish or something. He says somebody was standing next to him when he was reading that and like, read this. Because he apologizes not to like anybody, but somebody in that, whoever he was around, he apologized to whoever he was around. So you got to listen to it.
Right. Major shout out to Tiffany Marie for actually being one of the first YouTubers to actually get her hands on the actual 911 call. That's where I learned it from. She was able to access it from a database, which she did a step-by-step walkthrough in regards to bringing that document up and actually pinpointing the very first phone call that was made, which was a non-emergency call, and then the actual 911 call at the 1048 mark or 1053 or something like that. Tiffany, help me out.
She's gone.
Oh, she's gone. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I just saw that. What happened in the call? Down. What was the first call about?
First call was a non-emergency burglary call
from
Monica Sherrard's house.
And nobody came out there?
And no one addressed that call as far as we know. Let's see if I can find out if Tiffany fell back to. Okay, she fell. I think she fell off. Yeah.
Well, while you're looking for that, I was wanting to point out that after the last live, I went and I did like I went on my Google Maps and I put in the address of where the supposed attempted kidnapping took place back in February. And I put in that address compared to Monica's, and there's like 2 houses between them. They're like on the same block. They're like 2 houses between each other.
Yeah.
And then I did the distance between that and Darian's house. And it's like maybe 10, 15 minutes, And then I did both the distance from Darian's house to where the child was left. And then I did from Monica's house to where the child was left. And it's a total of about 20 minutes either way. So we're not talking about a large area, but in between all of this, there is the wooded area.
Yeah.
And first of all, I want to point out, we have to keep in mind that the people who are involved are probably listening. Okay. But I also want to point out that I believe that at any of these, if Darian had done it, he would have taken the child to an area where he's most familiar, which would have been more toward his own house, which was furthest from the woods, furthest from where the baby was found.
Right.
I don't believe that he would have gone to a territory or area where he would be he's less familiar with, because everyone knows their own personal block better than any other block.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that whoever took the baby to the woods, I honestly believe that if Darian was there, that he maybe had tried to save the baby and had remorse and tried to carry the baby to a house to get maybe a phone call or something. And that's why they tried to get back at him.
I think they were trying to figure a place to drop the baby. They wanted to leave him. They was like, going to leave him in there. But it's like, no, we don't need to leave. Ain't nobody, like, they wouldn't find him for a while. So they moved him to the street.
I think they wanted to leave him in the woods. And if Darian does have DNA on him or whatever, I think it's because Darian tried to save the baby or
those are the clothes that they had.
Bring the baby out.
The setup clothes. Like they just put those clothes in his. Because think about it, they would have DNA in his hair and all over the place. If he stabbed that child, it'll be all in his hair and stuff. It don't matter how good he washes his hair. Like they'll find something in there. They would have found it in his tub. Like it wasn't him. And they know it's not. Cameron washed his hair. Go look at his interview from how his hair looks right there in that the balloon release, and right then you can tell it's shriveled up, like it shrunk up because it got dry or whatever. But it's all hanging real good and whatnot in those interviews. He just washed his hair.
Right.
You can tell. Like
how long was the interview after the video of the abduction?
The same day.
The interview was the same day as
the same day as the news interview.
The video that we all have from Daily Mail and the interview from
the Daily Mail interview is 2 days later. 2 days after
2 days
the child
after the baby.
Okay. Yeah, the 17th.
All right.
The news was the same exact day.
Okay.
And his hair still looking a little long right there in the Daily Mail one. It's not that shrunk up, but then you look at him at the balloon release, it's real shrunk up.
Yeah.
If you notice.
We also have to take into consideration too, according to that video surveillance footage that we started tonight's live with, a lot of different elements pertaining to this being Darian Brown. Okay. This is what the Dallas Police Department believes is in that video is Darian Brown.
Did you go back? Did you see the lady in the video? You didn't see the lady walk in front of them after the balloon, they released the balloons and see her get in their face.
No, but I will. What I usually do is I go back over my lives. I make sure sound quality is good. The points that I covered in the live and everything else like that. And then that's when I go through comments and I spend the next day or two trying to go over the comments that the subscribers post on the lives. And they have been phenomenal posts. Thank you for every single one of your comments, whether it's a number 1 or number 2. Much love or just something pertaining to the case that they don't see in regards to what they feel has happened and so on and so forth. So those posts are incredibly valuable to me because it gives me feedback to actually produce and to begin looking at another live to follow up, such as the one that we're covering here tonight. I am under a tight time constraint, as I said before. I just wanted to take another look at the video surveillance footage side by side. The copy that we got from the Daily Mail through Crimes and Dummies, and yours, Kenny, the enhanced version side by side.
I got a better one coming.
Yeah, great.
With the grid and everything on it. You can see, you see all that stuff.
Well, send it to me. And Miss Deborah, please email me. Let's connect if we're not connected already in the email box so that we can discuss some of the things that you wanted to begin to bring up, but we put a pause on that because of the sensitivity of the information that you're about to, I guess, release on tonight's live. And let's see if we can match it up. Let's see if we can match it up with what we have.
I want to tell you that my phone is full, so I'm not even able to pull anything up. And I'm spending time tonight to because I have just like bombarded my phone with all this information. So tonight I'm organizing. I'll email you throughout the night. But I would also like to be able to communicate with Kenny. Special K, the Special K or whatever. I don't remember what you said. But
real Special K,
real only.
So I'd like to communicate, and maybe we can collaborate. In some fashion to where we can all, be on the same page and be able to add and everything with the same information instead of forwarding here and forwarding there. Is if someone has an idea how we can do that, because I'm telling you, I believe I'm onto something. I feel
that
really
thing
strong.
at the fence with that guy. I was like, oh, it might be that little guy at the fence right there. Think about
it. I can prove it, and and Kenny, your information was so invaluable. I mean, it's just like, man, I think I got this.
You guys need to check that lady out with that pink on. Y'all gonna be like, oh my, like she is clearly like she hides that thing in her wrist, and he's right behind her with the camera, so you can see it. Like it's really close. He was like he could bump her in the forehead with his hand. Like she's like doesn't care. Like she just tucks it in, put her camera on her phone, and she stands there and looks at him like, why is she looking at him like that? And then the mom walks up from the car and she like, uh-oh. And then she says something to Monica, one of the boys hugging her. And I think he's saying something about the lady too. And then they like, all of them like huddled up and they just walk off to the car. They get on. And then she was like, hold on. This lady is watching them. Like, she's looking pretty mean. Like,
well, we will definitely be back to continue our coverage of this case. Things are starting to move ahead. We're getting down to a timeline point where the DA is looking to produce an indictment from this case, and that timeline is drawing closer and closer, nearer and nearer to a point to where we may even hear Heath Harris come back on the news and make a statement in regards to the handling of this investigation and why he cannot have access, or he hasn't been able to get access to the case to begin his defense for Darian Brown. So with that said, we want to try to close it up on a good note. Kenny, thank you so much for your valuable time and your insight on this case. Miss Deborah, thank you so much for coming back and joining us, the both of you, and collaborating with me and looking at things that we see, that we perceive, and try to understand. That's how this case started for me. I'm sure that I've enlightened a few of you out there to follow exactly what we're doing on this case on my channel. And we will continue with part 8. That won't be produced, or I'm not going to be able to get it up and running until after I cover the update for the Orrin and Orson West case. And that's posted for this Sunday. I had to actually push up the timeline because of the limited time constraints for tonight's live, but I did want to get this information out to everyone as soon as I could. So with that said, thank you, both Kenny and Deborah. Thank you to everyone that's joined us tonight. We will be back, and I will be making an upcoming announcement on when that live is going to be going live. It'll probably be the Tuesday following the Orrin and Orson West case update. So with that said, much love to everyone. Be well and stay blessed with God's speed. I'm John Q. Thank you for joining us tonight.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Hello?